We should record. Cool.
Here we are. So welcome everyone. So I'll start with a few, boilerplate slides. So reminder that this is recorded, right? So please be aware that if you participate in this meeting, you're being recorded, and the recording and the notes are going to be published on the OpenLineage wiki at the LFAI and Data Foundation, link here. And we start the meeting with going around the room. And so everybody, please, can you just state your name, why you're here, or if there's something in particular you're interested about. And if you're just here to listen, that's fine too. Right? Don't feel like you have to have a topic. And we'll capture who's present. So to start on my screen, top left is Ernie.
Hi, Ernie Ostick, SVP of Products at Manta Software, and we are just continuing to learn more about OpenLineage and Marquez and getting excited.
Hi, I'm, oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. You're next.
I thought we had the same grid. Sorry, Julian.
Yeah, I don't think we have the same grid because it's always tricky, but go ahead.
Okay. Sorry about that. So Michael Robinson, Developer Relations Engineer with Astronomer. I support the community, coordinate these meetings. Happy to be here.
Maciej.
Hey, I'm Maciej Buchowski, software engineer at Getting Data and OpenLineage committer. And I'm pretty sure this grid is A/B tested constantly.
Paweł.
Hi, Paweł, a software engineer from Getting Data, OpenLineage committer involved in Spark integration and Spring integration. Thank you.
Minkyu.
Hi, I'm Minkyu Park. I'm a software engineer at Astronomer, and I'm trying to contribute OpenLineage and trying to get more involved to the community.
Michael Colado.
Hey, yeah, Michael Collado. I'm a staff software engineer at Astronomer, committed to OpenLineage and to Marquez. Mostly I work in the Spark stuff, but I also have touched the Airflow things a few times as well.
Willie.
Hello, everyone. I'm Willie. I'm the co-creator of Marquez and a OpenLineage committer, and I'm a software engineer at Astronomer.
Will Johnson, salesperson for Microsoft Teams. Sorry.
You're a Microsoft Teams representative, I guess. Is that
yes? Yeah.
Microsoft employee. I'm OpenLineage committer, and just super excited to hopefully to learn more about column level lineage, the stuff that Pavel's been up to. Super excited to see that.
Thank you, Ross.
Hey, I'm Ross Turk. I'm Director of Community here at Astronomer and committer on OpenLineage, and I'm here to help. I do website stuff and messaging and presentations and all things communications.
Sandeep.
Yeah, hey folks, my name is Sandeep. I'm from AWS, primarily responsible for the lineage service in AWS, and here just to learn about OpenLineage and have interest in learning about access models.
Nice. Howard.
Hi, my name is Howard Yu. I'm a staff product manager in Astronomer. I do take part in the OpenLineage projects to prioritize issues, raise tickets, collect customer feedbacks, make sure that what we are doing is relevant to the what the market is asking. So excited to be here.
Nice. And I'm Julian. I'm the project lead for OpenLineage. I also won't be present for the next meeting because I'll be at a conference, and Michael Robinson will run the next meeting. On that, so Just a slide to quickly remind you, like the means of communication in between those meetings, right? The main way we communicate in through the Slack. We do send some announcements to the mailing list, and notes and recordings go to the OpenLineage wiki. We do also send updates when there are releases and things like that on Twitter and LinkedIn. And the agenda for today, so we are going to first start with a review of the recent releases. And since I think this meeting got pushed a couple of times, so we have several releases that have happened since last time. And then Paweł is going to go into the column level lineage. And then we have our usual open discussion where you're welcome to bring your own topic if there's something you wanted to ask about. So to start, I'll pass it on to Michael Robinson to talk about our recent releases.
Thanks so much, Julian. As Julian said, it was a productive, busy month for the project. And we've got a preview of an upcoming release, actually, that is scheduled for today. Let me start with 0.7.1. And there are a few additions there to highlight. The project now has the ability to send OpenLineage events to Kafka from Python integrations. That's thanks to Maciej's work. Moving on, the project now sends a message in the UI about unknown operators, thanks to Mike Collato's work, with the unknown operator attribute run facet. We also added support for Spark 3.2.1 and a storage dataset facet to spec. Thank you, Paweł. And thanks to Howard for a doc in the OpenLineage integrations directory for the compatibility matrix. Moving on to 0.8.1, the project now uses a new task instance listener API for Airflow 2.3 and above. This means that OpenLineage now knows when Airflow tasks start and stop. Previously, we only knew when one was over. We also added support for Hive table relation as an input source. That's in the Spark integration. Thanks, Mike. The project now has the ability to send OpenLineage events to Kafka from Java integrations. That's thanks to Willie and Maciej, number 480 there. And last but not least, among the additions in this release, the eagerly anticipated Sql Parser, which used to be implemented in Python, as you might remember. Now it's implemented in Rust. Gives a lot more accuracy, handles more complicated queries. It's a totally new implementation. Thank you so much, Maciej. And bug fixes, that goes for 7.1 as well. Moving right along, we've got a brief preview for you of 0.8.3, which we expect to release today. Here, we've got a new feature that is kind of a fix as well. Now we're trying to get credentials from the secrets backend in the Airflow integration before falling back to querying the database. And this also includes a new test. Thanks, Maciej. Second one, we've now got support for the Azure Databricks credential pass-through. That's exciting. Thank you, Will. And third, among these additions, the Spark integration now detects data sets wrapped by external RDDS. Thank you to all the contributors for your work on these and future releases. We appreciate it.
And if there's no extra questions on the releases, thank you, Michael, for the overview. And we're going to pass it on to Paweł to talk about the column level lineage.
Okay. So perhaps can I share my screen to show the pull request?
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah, so the column level lineage is split to 4 pull requests, I would say. First of them was just a spec, yeah, to propose a, first of them was just a proposal which proposed some spec structure, and it's already merged and accepted. The second one that's already merged also is a column lineage core mechanism. It's merged, but the column lineage is turned off. So the core mechanism internals are present within the main branch, but we still didn't turn it on. And how is it working? So it contains, let's say, 3 important parts. The first part is to detect the output. So it gets the logical plan of the Spark and tries to extract the column level lineage out of this. And to do so, it requires, 3 things. First one is the outputs. Yeah. So it needs to collect the outputs and be able to identify the output with the expression ID, because all the nodes within the Spark plan are mapped, are labeled with the expression ID. So first we collect the output columns and assign them and get the expression IDs which is assigned to them. And we can extract the output from the Spark nodes like the aggregate or the project. The second thing is to identify the inputs. So the leaf nodes of the Spark tree. And what we found out is that the possible leaf nodes that we are interested in can be of 5 types, like data source V2 relation, data source V2 scan relation, which is pretty similar to the first one, hive table relation, and logical relation. From all of those, we are able to extract the inputs, and also we are able to identify the expression ID that each input column is connected with. Yeah? So we've got the inputs, we've got the outputs, we've got the expression IDs. We just need to know which expression ID of the input affects the expression ID of the output. And to do so, we need to traverse the rest of the logical plan and extract the dependencies between the expression IDs. So if we've got Spark operator like concat of 2 columns, it gets 2 expression IDs as an input and outputs a single expression IDs. And we fetch those dependencies while traversing the whole Spark logical plan. At the end, we are able to identify for each output column, we go through all those expression IDs and can identify what input columns were used to create this information. Yeah. So we don't collect information on how was this input used to produce the output. So perhaps it was just a copy, like select column. Perhaps it was randomized or hashed or whatever. But we know that the column has been used to, the input column has been used to create the output. Yeah. So that's how it is working. Within the merge pull request, we introduced a lot of unit tests that performed some Spark query, then got the logical plan of it, and then tried to see what was the column lineage extracted to make sure the things are working. And this is merged. And the other branch, the other pull request that it's still being under review, the pull request to turn it on. Once we turn it on, the OpenLineage event will get an extra JSON field, column lineage, with a list of fields, and for each field, there will be the input fields detected. Yeah. So Julian told me that some people were trying to prepare column level lineage offline based on the serialized logical plan. And I think the tricky point that cannot be achieved that way is to be able to identify the input fields with the data sets. So, if you are just trying to parse the logical plan without having an active Spark session next to you, you know the name of the input column, but it's really hard for you to identify what data sets does it come from. And when we are doing this within OpenLineage, within existing Spark job that is currently running, I think we can extract more information from that. So that's the branch that's currently under the review. So once it is merged, the thing is turned on. There's fourth issue already created. It's not a pull request, it's the issue, because in the former PR, Will Johnson said that it would be great to be able to extend this API because, yeah, as mentioned before, there are some specific kind of Spark logical plan nodes that we are able to understand, like the logical relation, high table relation, but perhaps there are even more type of nodes that, that are some custom related to some custom software. Yeah. So being able to extend it is on our plan, is on our roadmap, but it's not implemented yet. Yeah, perhaps it's good to ask if you have some questions or remarks.
Will?
Paweł, amazing. Thank you so much for doing this, man. This is like one of the biggest asks that I've seen from anyone that I've talked to about getting Lineage out, and it's just been a huge thing. So thank you, holy crud. I think this is incredible. And thank you for also taking a look at extension as well. So my one question I had was handling user-defined functions, like not necessarily like pandas UDFs, but like is the solution already generic enough? Because a UDF in Spark would allow you to define, here's an input and here's the expected output with the data type. Is a UDF, like a plain built-in Spark UDF, already supported, or would that need to be extended as well?
So depends on what kind of UDF is it, because if it is something that extends binary expression or unary expression, we don't have to know what's inside. It's the class that extends binary expression. It has 2 inputs, single output. We know the expression IDs. We move further. Yeah, but it's not included within the test. So it's just my assumption that it should be like this, but it's worth testing. I'm not sure how the Python extension will work. Yeah, because not only you can write it in Java, but you can include some Python UDFs. Yeah, definitely it's worth adding extra unit test for that, or kind of integration test to verify if it's that smooth. Yeah. But anyway, there are hundreds of possible Spark operators, and we didn't have to list all of them or implement for each of them what's happening there. Yeah? If we know it's a binary expression, we know it has 2 parents and a single output column. Yeah, whatever it does, we don't care about it. Yeah?
That's awesome. Super exciting. I'm looking forward to taking the implementation that you have right now and sending it through our test suite, because there's a lot of great opportunity already with just handling the core Spark expressions. And then there's a team at Microsoft who I think would be really excited to know that it handles UDF. So I'll be sure to test that as part of my review. Thanks, man. Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
I think I had one more, Julian. Sorry, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
Paweł, how much time did you spend on this? Like, because this seems, again, not to say that the Microsoft engineers are super smart, but like there's people over here scratching their heads on how to do this. And so I'm just curious, how the heck did you figure this out? Like, what was the effort, just anecdotally, that it took you to pull this all together? Because this seems like an insane amount of work, but like it seems you're not sweating, you're not like exhausted. So it's amazing to see you accomplish it, right?
It's a funny story because I spent a couple of days of thinking of how it can be solved, talking with Maciej, and then someone gave a comment on the existing issue. I don't remember what was the issue number, but one of the users just put a comment, "Hey, did you look at this?" And I had a chance, and it was some, web UI thing to present the internals of the Spark logical plans. And they had exactly the same solution. So how to traverse the logical plan to extract dependencies between the fields. So my first impression was, I'm inventing something very original. And then I found out, oh man, someone else has already done it similar way. Yeah. So yeah, after collapsing for the first time, then I realized, you know, if the other guy is doing this the same way, then perhaps it's not that wrong approach. Yeah, it's worth continuing. Yeah. So the code, so that was pretty cool because it allowed me to verify if I identified all of the nodes that that require some custom, you know, processing, like whether it's hyperrelation or data source v2 relation. Yeah, I just had a look at their code and saw that they're checking for the same types. Yeah, that's enough. Yeah.
That's awesome. It reminds me of, like, you know, Newton and Leibniz in calculus, right? Both co-inventors, and like, you know, assenting at the same time. And then, you know, just fingers crossed, Pavel, that your notation sticks, right? Like, we screw those other guys. You want your notation to be the one to win, right? Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Anybody else had question? So this is great. Thank you so much, Pavel. I +1 on Will's comment. This is a great development. And now we just have the pressure to make sure all the integrations have some level of column level lineage in them, which is difficult depending on where they're coming from. So the next item on the agenda is the open discussion. So I was wondering, did anyone add a question, some pressing issue, they opened something?
I have a question, and it kind of follows the work that Pavel has been doing. So with, you know, the backend implementation of OpenLineage, you know, with Marquez, we need to start handling the column level lineage. So we do need to update the model in some way. I haven't thought about it too much, but, you know, that's going to be some follow-up work that we need to do. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to state that. And, you know, has anyone thought about how that might work, or are there any guidelines?
I think one way we would add this to Marquez, in particular, is a lineage endpoint. So in Marquez, you have this lineage endpoint where you can get a lineage for a data set or a job. We probably would have an endpoint that's the column level lineage, and that would layer on top of the dataset lineage, filtering it down to where the columns are coming from. So that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we do have the model to link runs with the input and output data sets, so we could kind of apply a similar approach to how we wanted to build lineage for columns and for data sets. And yeah, just exposing a new UI. So it'd be, once all this is merged in, which, you know, in this case it is here, it'd be great to start working on the Marquez side to start supporting this in future releases. But amazing work.
Yeah, I don't know that there needs to be a separate endpoint in Marquez to support this, right? Like, I mean, it's just a facet on the existing run event, right? So I think we just need to augment the existing endpoint to do something with the data.
I see. Yeah. Yeah, we have the lineage endpoint. I mean, we could add some query parameter or something that would allow us to just look at the column level lineage.
That makes sense. Oh, Pavel's laptop died. That's good. Any other topics people wanted to discuss?
Well, I was thinking, like, the visualization side. How do we expect this to be visualized? You know, would it be, you just have your, you know, it'd be from field to field, and that would be the lineage itself? right? Because you have jobs and data sets, but now would this be a different view where you can click on a data set and then click on a field and you could view the lineage graph that way?
I think possibly. Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a bunch of different ways that you could imagine this, right? You can imagine, like, if you have the regular graph on the screen and you click on a data set field, maybe most of the graph disappears except for the lineage for that field. Or, that's one option, right? There's probably a number of different ways that we could do this.
I'm sure there are people on the call who have opinions, but I think I've seen various versions of UIs.
Okay, cool.
Any more question about the column level lineage or thoughts? So it sounds like it's a wrap if there's nothing else you wanted to bring up. Thank you all for participating to this monthly iteration on the OpenLineage meeting. And thank you for the new participants or recurring participants as well. And we'll see you next time. Or actually, I won't see you next time, but other people will be there.
All right.
Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
You too.
Bye.
Yeah.
See you.
Bye-bye.